and in the blink of an eye, she realized that there was now a full-grown leopard biting down on her kid's leg.
No! People who snapped and killed apex predators barehanded.
The Granny Incident. On a farm in rural Russia, 2012, a Russian grandma heard loud crying and whimpers outside of her home. Confused, she quickly ran outside to see what was going on. There, she was met with the grisly scene of a Eurasian wolf covered in blood while eating one of the grandma's baby cows.
Look, honestly, Granny, you way too old to do anything. Just lock yourself in. Can you even call people in Russia? I don't know. It looks like hell. But, Granny, let me find out you do jiu-jitsu. Alright? Yo, Granny, calm down now. What are we doing?
These wolves aren't like normal ones due to the Bergman's rule. This rule states that animals in colder regions evolve larger body sizes to stay warm. A male Eurasian wolf weighs anywhere from 150 to 170 pounds. With that being said, any normal person would probably just lock themselves in their house and call police officers or something.
What did Granny do? I just want to know the choice of weapon Granny's gonna use. It better be like a shotgun, maybe even a cane. There's no way she's gonna go outside with her bare hands.
But the grandma was unfazed. Her people have survived Soviet winters, food shortages, and probably World War II. So for her, a wolf was just another Tuesday. While the wild animal was trying to tear the calf apart, the grandma began roaring at it in an attempt to scare it off. But unbeknownst to her, the wolf had rabies and was manic. So
Yo, that has to be a double whammy. Not only is it a wolf that can actually eat you, but it also got rabies. You even try to touch it and you could potentially die as well.
So instead of running away, the beast lunged at the grandma, going straight for her throat. However, she immediately punched the animal in the snout, causing it to bite onto her left hand instead. She tried to open up the wolf's mouth so that she could shove her hand down its throat.
What?
Wait, okay, of all places that you could potentially try to knock out the wolf, the nose, the eyes, literally anywhere else, you're gonna shove your hand deeper down in there? I don't know. I feel like Granny's just, at this point, she's just doing anything. Like, obviously, she probably has barely any years to live. I know that sounds depressing, but she don't care anymore, and she's Russian.
Probably sounds like a random thing to do in this situation, but hunters and herders sometimes use this tactic because apparently larger animals have really bad gag reflexes.
I don't know. I feel like I hear a lot of advice when it comes to animals, like don't move, yell at them, don't run. But I feel like when the moment comes, all of that knowledge is going to be thrown out the window. You think I'm going to take my chances and try to get a punch in a wolf's mouth? Like, I feel like I'm going to just be unlucky, and right when I try to punch, he's just going to bite my fist. And then now what?
Unfortunately for her, however, the wolf's jaws were locked tight, and she wouldn't be able to get them open because it began thrashing her hand around. So instead, she switched gears to her backup plan: punching. She kept on punching and punching and punching the wolf until it decided to go tear away at her legs.
Oh!
To be fair, she's 56 years old and fighting a wolf, so when the wolf began dragging her by the legs, that's when she realized she needed a weapon.
What?
Luckily for her, her trusty axe was nearby.
The luck that you have to be dragged out by a wolf with rabies and then finally finding an axe. Wait, hold on. So is she gonna get some shots, some rabies shots? How does it work? I thought once you get bit by rabies, it's like low-key done.
While the wolf was busy munching on her feet, the grandma raised her axe high above her shoulders and split the wolf's head in two. Then she did it again, then she did it one more time for good measure.
Yo, Granny! You know what? I don't blame you at all. Plus, he killed your cow. But Granny, hold on. Why are you moving like Prime Gojo? 3 chops to the head? You know what? I expect no less from a Russian Granny.
She was taken to the hospital where remarkably her injuries weren't too severe. If you're a wolf and watching this video, then my advice to you is, don't try to eat Russian grandmas. They're not prey.
Don't try to eat anybody Russian. What about that?
More like Elden Ring bosses. Also, to add to that, don't try to eat these next types of people either. The dad incident. In 2021, a father in Karnataka, India, was riding back home on his motorcycle in a forest. As is common in certain regions of India and other countries, the father was riding with his wife on the back of his bike while she carried their... It was nearing nighttime, and after the family finished their work for the day, they were headed back to their village to relax. Their fatigued eyes squinted hard through the rural road they were on together. They tiredly blinked at it again and again until they noticed the motorcycle got heavier. The man's wife looked down at the child she was carrying, and in the blink of an eye, she realized that there was now a full-grown leopard biting down on her kid's leg.
No! No, imagine the way you realize there's an animal on you is because it's on your baby. I'm sorry, that has to be the craziest way you could pay attention to anything. The fact that someone is literally biting down on your child. Wait, hold on. So is the baby even gonna survive this?
Yup. A 160-pound wildcat was latched onto the and trying to run off into the forest with it, all while on a motorcycle. The mother screamed and pulled back her from the grip of the leopard's teeth, provoking the beast in the process. It quickly pounced and swiped at her in retaliation, prompting the man to increase the speed on his bike so that they could outpace the cat. But unfortunately, his motorcycle wasn't fast enough to escape the animal because it quickly bit onto the leg of his...
Okay, can y'all please get the baby out of harm's way? Like, the baby already got bit once. Why are y'all letting him just attack your baby and nothing else? Let's protect the baby. Let's wrap him around your belly anywhere else, okay? Because there's no reason why your baby should be out and about anywhere when there's a whole ass leopard chowing down on y'all.
Again. Out of pure instinct, while still riding the motorcycle, the father began elbowing the leopard to get it off their child. The cat swiped up at him, causing him to crash the vehicle. However, before the leopard could run away with the child, the father grabbed the animal by its throat. Yeah. And while it quickly let go of his kid, the two of them fell into a wrestling match.
Yo, you about to lose in a wrestling match? I mean, honestly, I feel like if there's anything they're gonna lose, it is a wrestling match. I've never seen an animal get choked to death.
Leopards are exceptionally lethal predators, with the ability to vertically jump 10 feet into the air and casually drag 200 pounds up into trees with them. There are even videos of leopards plummeting from 300 feet, shaking it off, and continuing to hunt their prey. And here, this 30-something-year-old man was wrestling one with his hands gripped tightly around its throat. The leopard thrashed him around. Its claws tore into his arms, chest, and split his face. But still, he didn't let go, because he knew if he did, it'd slaughter his family.
Yeah, and plus your wife is looking at you. I'm not gonna lie. If there is a time to lock in, if there is a time to look good in front of your girl, it's right now.
He did something absolutely insane. Mid-wrestle match, he positioned the leopard into a chokehold with both of his arms. These cats have necks that are thick with muscle design.
Wait, he cracked the neck? There's no way. There's no way you could twist an animal's head.
To support their ability to carry heavy prey up trees. So, honestly, for a human, trying to strangle this wildcat is pretty much like trying to choke out a tree trunk. Neighbors in nearby villages finally heard the commotion from the attack and quickly ran in the direction of the screaming family. But when they arrived, it seemed that they were already late to the party because what they witnessed had everybody in pure disbelief.
What did he do?
They saw a man sitting on the floor, covered in blood, and in front of him laid a motionless leopard. Everybody was taken to the hospital for their injuries, and the only casualty of the event was the leopard. The Florida man.
Yo, that's aura. Yo, bro, I'm glad all of them are safe. Wow. So what's the explanation to that? Did he just gain like superpowers? That's actually a miracle. You can't convince me that's not.
Accident.
Yo, he's gonna talk about that story for the rest of his life. Yeah, I choked out and killed a snow leopard. Like, I feel like that is such a good story to tell anybody. Who is not gonna look at you in awe if you told them you just literally just choked out an animal? You didn't need to shoot them or axe them or anything. Literally with your bare hands. I'm being scared of you. I'm gonna hire you as my security.
Everything was normal for a Floridian family on a sunny beach day on July 6th, 2001, Pensacola. A 30-year-old uncle laid back peacefully on his beach towel, tanning in the sun while everyone had fun around him. He sat up to look around and take in the moment. He saw volleyballs being thrown, sandcastles being built, and his 8-year-old nephew getting torn apart by a bull shark in the water.
That is a weird, interesting fact to add in front of everything. They were drinking lemonade, they were chilling in the sand, and yeah, his nephew over there was literally about to die. His nephew over there is getting cooked. Like, yo, what are we doing, Talking Hat? Why are we narrating this way?
Then he laid back down and relaxed, because life was good.
Huh?
Yeah. No. Upon realizing what he just saw, the man immediately leapt up from his beach towel and began sprinting full speed towards the water. People began screaming, "Shark!" and started running away from the waters, but the uncle was still sprinting towards the bull shark that was actively swimming away with his nephew in its mouth.
Yo, I don't know if he's in charge of his nephew right now, but if that's the case, I understand why he's going through him. I understand why he's going to his nephew, because if the parents left him in your care and they see his ass built like Geodude, it's raps. You're gonna be the one in trouble.
Bull sharks are one of the, if not, the most aggressive shark species on the planet. They weigh anywhere from 200 to 700 pounds. They often hunt in shallow waters and are believed to have the most testosterone of any animal on the entire planet. So what do you think this Florida man did when he finally spotted the bull shark in the water? Well, he leapt on top of it. Yeah. After taking a good look at the 7-foot, 400-pound beast, he jumped on it inside of the water and began punching it in the face to rescue his nephew. Fortunately for both of them, the shark actually let go of the boy.
Good.
However, it bit off his arm and started swimming off with it.
No. That's what I hate about shark attacks. They're gonna leave with something. I've never seen a shark attack where they just bit into something and then that's it. Whenever shark attacks happen, do they go after the shark afterwards? And do they close the beaches down permanently, or how does it work? Because I'm not going back in any waters where a shark attacked a human, period.
In its mouth. Now, what do you suppose the Florida man did at this point?
What did he do? He went back and tried to get the boy's arm back. There's no way. Let me find out that the arm actually got reattached. That has to be Uncle of the Year award.
He jumped back into action and began wrestling the bull shark underwater for his son's arm. The shark and the man fell into a tug-of-war match where the shark tried swimming off into deeper waters and the uncle tried desperately to pull it back onto shore.
Please tell me he did it.
The man tugged, twisted, and pulled. The shark was trying to get away, but he didn't let go. I don't know how, but the psychopath literally pulled the shark back onto the beach.
What? No, this is just wild. Do you know how much strength you have to pull a 7-foot shark from the water and also swim out of that water? And I'm not no water expert, but I'm pretty sure sharks low-key swim fast. This man is a G, through and through.
Then pried its jaws open with his bare hands and ripped his nephew's severed arm out of its mouth. The arm was still intact.
Good.
A local fisherman on a boat nearby noticed the commotion happening on the beach. He pulled out his rifle and took aim, and in one click, the shark's mad frenzy ended. Vance Flosenzia wrestled a bull shark and was able to give paramedics his nephew's arm to be reattached in surgery.
Nice.
I can't say I expected less from the Florida man, but honestly, he wins Uncle of the Year.
He better give his life to his uncle at this point. Anything your uncle wants, you better do. You would have been armless throughout your entire life. And now, at the very least, you have an arm. I'd cry, man. I'd literally cry.
The Uno reverse incident. In 2024, a 35-year-old railway worker in India was just trying to get some sleep after a long shift. It was the middle of the night and he was passed out on his bed when he felt something crawling up his leg. He woke up and saw a snake, but not just any snake.
What?
An extraordinarily venomous one that was assumed to be a crate or a cobra, some of the deadliest reptiles on the planet. He stared at the snake. It stared back. He continued staring, and so did the snake. And then it bit him. Now,
it ceases to amaze me whenever I see a snake versus like a whole human or like a whole goat, and then I see them swallowing the entire thing. For something so small like that, how do y'all have such big appetites? How do y'all even have the mouth to consume things like this?
Most people would have panicked, called for help, or maybe tried driving toward a nearby hospital. But this guy just had to be different. Something inside him snapped, and before the snake could slither away, he grabbed the animal with his bare hands and,
bit it?
He bit it.
What?
Yeah. Multiple times. He chomped down twice on a reptile that is venomous enough to end the lives of 20 humans with a single bite.
What?
He tried wriggling out of his teeth, but he munched on it like it was a piece of jerky, effectively crushing it.
Yo, let me find out if this man has like some sort of anti-venom. He's probably one of those people that prepare for those bites or wants it to happen just so he could feel the pain of it.
Later on, the man was rushed to the hospital and given an anti-venom so that he could recover from the bite. He later on told reporters that in some parts of India, there's a superstition that biting a snake transfers the venom back to the animal, so that it'll pass away instead of you. So, who knows? Maybe the superstition actually worked, or maybe he just needed an excuse for his revenge.
Honestly, I'm taking that snake with me. Can snakes survive if they're cut in half? Because for some reason, I feel like because the way they're built, they don't even need that second half. They'll just become a smaller snake.
He was a 69-year-old Alaskan hunter, and on November 1st, 1999, he was out in the wilderness doing what he'd done for decades. Hunting. He knew the woods, and more importantly, he knew how to handle himself. Him and 3 other hunters set out to catch a black-tailed deer, but due to the windy weather, it was extraordinarily hard to sneak up on one. So they split up into groups of 2. Later on, after hunting for what felt like hours, the man and his partner became frustrated because they still hadn't caught the deer, so he came up with a plan. He told his partner to split up with him and said, "If I let out a shot, you come to my noise. But if you let out a shot, then I'll come to your noise."
Okay.
His partner nodded in agreement, but the only issue is that his partner was also wearing a heavy-duty hat with thick ear flaps that muffled the sound of pretty much everything outside.
Wait, so how did you even hear the fact that that's what he wanted to do? Obviously, you were listening to him when that was happening.
Man split up from his teammate, and within just a bit, he found the deer they were trying to hunt all day. He took aim, marking a successful hunt for him and his crew. He waited for his partner to come, but it didn't happen.
None.
He began hooting like an owl a few times to draw attention.
Whole time this man had a mating call, you attracted 10 bears. No!
But his partner still didn't show up. The man rolled his eyes in annoyance, took off his rifle, and put it beside a tree. He then decided to butcher the deer meat by himself, and after cutting away at it for a while, the man heard a twig snap behind him. Feeling relieved that his partners finally showed up, he turned around to greet his
bear.
crew. A brown bear stands at about 10 feet tall, weighs about 1,000 pounds, and runs as fast as a car on a street. Unfortunately for this man, it wasn't his crew members that showed up, but instead, the bear. The hunter froze when he saw it. The distance between the two of them was about 30 feet away. And the distance between him and his rifle was only 2 feet. But the
Dude, you could get that. You could get that. You could get that.
bear let out a roar, and it charged at him so fast that it was impossible for him to even think about trying to grab that weapon. He only had one option available, his buck knife. He dropped his deer meat and quickly grabbed the blade from his pocket, and right as he
Hold on, bro. If you have enough time to reach down your pocket, you have enough time to just go out and get a gun, bro. I'm confident he's gonna survive, but what is that little ass knife gonna do to a 10 feet bear? Obviously, he's gonna do something, but that over a shotgun?
pulled it out, the man-beast was already right in front of him. The hunter aimed to slash at the bear's open mouth, but he missed and accidentally sliced its face instead. Angering the bear, it crushed his arm with its teeth, tearing off his skin and exposing his bone. The hunter screamed in pain, and the full-grown bear pushed him down to the ground, pinning him into a death grip. While it twisted away at the hunter's arm, he quickly used his free hand to try to poke the bear's eye out with his thumb.
Did it work?
But it began thrashing him around.
Yo, see, that's the reason why I would never punch an animal. Everybody be saying, yeah, just punch them, blindside them, hit them in the nose, and they'll run away. No. You think that you're gonna be faster with a punch than a bear with its mouth? Or any animal with its mouth?
Causing him to miss continuously. The man switched gears and instead took his finger and jammed it deep into the bear's ear canal, rupturing its eardrum. The beast let go of him and recoiled in confusion and annoyance. It then let out another 100 to 120 decibel roar and charged at the hunter again.
Damn.
The man was still on his
Get
back,
your gun now.
then desperately kicked the bear square in the throat, making it stumble as he hopelessly scrambled back to his feet.
Okay.
He was covered in blood, with an arm that was completely mangled and a bear that was charging at him again to finish him off for good. The man's mind raced, and his thoughts became a blurry panic. He was actually getting eaten alive by a bear, and he was running out of options for survival.
Get the gun. I mean, now I think it's gonna be a little further than 2 feet, and obviously you don't have the facilities for that big man, but come on.
Quickly, he fell onto his butt and stretched out his leg to use it as bait for the bear to bite onto and be distracted with. This would prove to be a terrible decision, because instead of just biting the lower end of his leg,
Don't tell me he bit both. Don't tell me my man's is gonna be out here looking like Geodude, bro. Is he even gonna be walking anywhere? He's gonna be using his goddamn arms, bro.
it actually chomped down on his thigh, giving it complete control over his entire body. The bear began to shake the man around like a rag doll, thrashing his body around and bashing his skull on the floor, nearby trees and rocks, causing serious damage. The hunter couldn't see a single thing. His ears gotten blocked from the extreme trauma he was suffering,
And he still survives? How? Yo, this gotta be plot armor.
and he was losing consciousness. Nonetheless, his adrenaline gave him enough energy to power through the bear's thrashing and to plow his buck knife countless times into the beast's thick, furry neck.
Damn.
The bear dropped the man and backed away as it bled from its neck with his knife stuck in it. The man stood up on one foot with his body exposed, showing both muscle and bone, but he fell into a delirium and began screaming at the bear. Reports mentioned that he began desperately shouting something to the lines of, "God is on my side," or "The Lord is with
Yo,
me."
I'm also thinking about how mad I'd be at my homies after I let out a shot and y'all were supposed to come see me and you didn't. Honestly, if anything has to be amputated from any of my livers or organs, you're gonna give me it. You're actually gonna give me it. Cause what do you mean?
The bear charged at him again, and with one good arm, he punched the bear square in the snout repeatedly.
No way.
Causing the disoriented
Okay,
animal
he lied about that part of the story. Punched.
to collapse on the ground. The hunter collapsed on the ground with the bear, then quickly scrambled to his feet to grab his rifle. Each time he stood up, he fell. But finally, he got to his weapon. At this point, his vision was blurry, his eyes were covered in blood, his hearing was muffled, and he was on the brink of passing out. He stood over the bear's body with his weapon, aimed it at the bear, and then tried to shoot it. However, nothing happened. He quickly looked at his rifle and realized the flesh hanging off of his body had jammed the gun. The bear began groaning and slowly getting up again. He tirelessly pulled the flesh out, then aimed the weapon at the bear again. He was victorious. But
Yo, at least now you can also skin a bear. And now it's a bit more than deer meat. I wonder if they keep it for, I don't know, for a good story time, I guess. I hope he looks good, though.
then he immediately collapsed to the ground. The man could barely stand. He dragged himself across the snowy forest until he reached the beach. Sticks and branches tore at his already mangled body as he crawled. Each time he was about to lose consciousness from the sheer amount of pain he was in, he'd quickly grab a chunk of ice-cold snow and shove it into his mouth to shock him back awake.
Smart.
When he made it to the snowy beach, he finally saw his team. Horrified with what they saw, they ran to the man's disfigured body to help him out. Drenched in blood, the only thing the man said before
Wait, where were y'all at the entire time? Did y'all just leave him? None of y'all went on a search mission? Y'all were just chilling?
passing out is please. This is the story
Wow.
of Gene Moe, an Alaskan huntsman. After receiving multiple skin grafts and about 1,000 stitches, he survived and made a full recovery from this nightmare. And despite the trauma, Gene kept
Okay,
on
he looks good. He looks good. I don't know how his head looks because he's obviously covering it, but he looks good.
hunting well into his 70s. He credited his survival to God, and he would go on to live a full life till 2024, where he passed away peacefully at 93. The wilderness is extraordinarily dangerous, but honestly, the moral of today's story is, don't mess with Russian grandmas, don't mess with Florida men, and especially don't mess with any Alaskan Christian dudes that have a bear hanging up on their wall. Now, go and have a happy day.
And if you're gonna be going hunting with your homies, stay close to them. One of you guys keep a gun at all times and the other one can take it shot. Anyways, amazing video from a talking hat like always. Let me know what y'all think. Which story time was the craziest? Yo, animals, y'all gotta chill, bro. Alright, let's just be one. I know humans do a lot of bad shit to y'all, but just chill, bro. Let's talk it out, alright? Make sure you guys like, subscribe. More uploads coming soon. I'm not missing an upload this month. I'm back. Make sure y'all catch the stream, check out the gaming channel, all that good stuff. Waxer for life. Love y'all and peace.